Aquarius, March 2021. This reading's for you. How can I express more love? I think that speaks for itself, although it might be worth saying that Aquarians, I'm an Aquarius, by the way, and I believe there are many Aquarians similar to the way I function. Love is a continuous mystery, and we Aquarians have an ability to take mystery and turn it into just another thing on the shelf, another milk bottle to knock down as we throw our balls at the carnival of life. And maybe March will be a good time to ask, how can I express more love? We may think, we know how to think, we know how to visualize, but we might be visualizing acts of love that we're not exactly really doing or bringing to someone else, right? So let's just leave that and see what the cards have to say, but think about it. How can you express more love? How can I express more love? Yin, I'm going to start with you. Yin, Aquarius, March 2021. Let's start with the Six of Pentacles. And go to the Eight of Pentacles. And then popped out the Devil. So how are your finances? This one is appearing to contain some, giving a nod towards the idea of money, wealth. And it looks to me like there's both a balance in your heart and soul in terms of the way you deal with the energy of money or wealth or your investments. But there's also, this is my artisan card, there's also that balance between you expressing yourself creatively and the idea of money. It is said, of course, you know this as well as I do, that things that are your bliss, when you're following your bliss, let's say, you will do them whether you're paid for it or not. That's how much you love that. And perhaps in this case, your expression of love wants to be combined with your creative self and your creative juices to form the kind of union that lends itself, when we go to the Six of Pentacles, to staying with your game. Notice on this card how the Six Pentacles are divided into two triangles. Those triangles representing the number 3 each, but the number 3 relates to creativity in symbolic reference, right? So in the Marseilles deck, the division between the upper half and the lower half of the card is known to represent the division between the mundane and the celestial, right? So how about the idea of weaving together your personal celestial and your personal mundane worlds in a creative way that brings money. Or let's put it this way, because if you're an artist, money can just be another form of energy. I've heard a lot of people in these days say, I don't care about the money. Right? Well, not caring and knowing that you have to pay the rent are the undeniable. There's a juxtaposition that needs to take place in order for you to do both. Don't care about it, but still pay the rent. And in this case, you have to be actively involved with that part of yourself that can combine your efforts in this world with your evolution as a spirit. And then, this position, the way I read these three cards, is the position of the solution. So let's ask ourselves, if the solution is a visit to the devil, then you become one of the characters that's standing there with the devil standing above you. And why would you do that? Because you're visiting that part of yourself that doesn't want to see the light of day. And yet it must be recognized, and it must be embraced. You do not have to be your shadow side in order to embrace your shadow side. If anything, make your shadow side or find ways to put it to work so that it will not condemn you to a life of being controlled by your shadow. Walk with it and make it clear to your shadow that it must walk with you. So that, how does that relate with these other cards? Well, there's a lot of high-end work here, especially if you're an artist. There's a lot of high-end work in the refinement of your soul, although you may be carrying out some of your expression of the refinement of your soul through your art, and that's cool. But at the same time, knocking on your door is this need to uncover something that is in yourself right now that wants to have the flashlight shone upon it. Can it come through the expression of more love? Yin? That is for you to find out. Because maybe with you in that visit to your personal devil has to be your partner, just like is shown in the cards. And if that's the case, you can't imagine a way to get through that moment without expressing love on some level. That's how I feel about it. Yin, it looks so cool, but it looks like there's work within. Your Aquarian nature is being asked to deal with something that many Aquarians I know, and even myself, there are certain things about the mundane world I just don't want to deal with, right? You ever feel that way? Right now, I want to deal with Yang energy, March 2021, please, for this cut. There it is. Let's start off Yang with the Judgment card. Let's move to the World card. Let's conclude with the Seven of Cups. Ooh. You know, where there was a bit of anxiety or, you know, maybe more of a brutal force kind of a modality to the yin line, the yang line is just bursting with blissful energy. Sitting here in the center and wanting all the attention and deserving all the attention is the card of perfect balance, the card of the completion of a cycle, the card of you got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow, that kind of thing. And how you got there was by going through this transition into the world of a new awareness. And your new awareness lent itself directly to your being, not an activity, being. And your being is strong, complete, balanced, whole, happy, loving, etc. Yang, out of that, you see the cup in the center? That is your cup to take out from your whole experience of having transitioned into a new awareness and hit in the environment of the world card and producing a little offspring. You have an offspring here that's coming out of the grave in a new being. That's you. And now you have this new offspring cup that's sitting in the center to give your cup. And if you're in a partnership, who better to give it to or to share it with than your partner, right? Let's move to the archetypal overall influences. So, $22 numbered angel cards in here. To be 4 of them to be selected. 22 major arcana. To figure out, it's as if we have 4 planets. We'll have 4 archetypal cards. We have 4 planets that are orbiting what? They're orbiting this sphere, this spiritual biosphere, this ecological world of the details. These are outside the orb, and they are radiating the energies that are more universal for all components of what's in the spiritual biosphere. And they have something to say. Let's see what. Your situation. The sun. Your obstacle. Strength. Your asset. The Wheel of Fortune. Your potential outcome. Temperance. Not much to say about the sun card, except that it's making it possible to enhance something that is already great in the yang line and brightening even, or I mean, let's face it, this artistic work, it has a lot of clout in what I'm feeling. So the enhancement of that and the creativity, wow. I mean, this 3 and 3 balance between the celestial and the mundane is you can't beat it. If you want to move forward with maybe a new approach to something, there you have everything you need, and now you got the sun shining on it, right? So let's just take that as the benevolence of the sun. That is, in fact, a universal, unconditional, loving energy that brings life to everything as just that simple reality, bottom line of the energy. It's interesting how strength is depicted in this deck, because it's like somebody who wants to beat down their animal nature. And so we know better in this age. This was Renaissance, around there, when this deck came out. We know better now than then. I mean, we think differently about the idea of strength and the strength card, right? So I think, though, that it's worthwhile to consider, since this is your obstacle, that in the mix of things, in the process as it unfolds, don't attempt to beat down your animal nature. Attempt to synthesize it into your whole being in a way that is complementary with your higher self. So we want our mundane. That's why we're here on the planet Earth, because we want the earthly experience. So we need it. Our souls need it. But in the process of getting to that, there's many that go into denial or refusal to acknowledge and accept their animal nature, their earthly, primal, instinctive nature. Don't do that. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying that if that's an obstacle, and it can be, if you try and beat down your own animal nature, your own instinctive self, it's the equivalent of denying that you have a shadow. And we don't want to do that to be whole. Enough said. I want to just I'm feeling the need to stay simple also with the wheel. That it being an asset kind of implies whisper, whisper, be ready for amazing, magical, unbelievable experiences. Nothing more, nothing less. Be ready. But be excited too. You can, in fact, be excited. And you know what? You can take everything, all that excitement and all that anticipation of the best, the possibilities of it flowing through your life, and filter it through the idea of how can I express more love? And when you get to the end, you have the mistress of homogenization, making things homogeneous, responding to that angelic call that tells us that we can pour the water between the two jugs. In Aquarius, we are the water bearers, right? So why not end with the idea of when you bear the water, bear it well. Use it to give drinks of whatever to your fellow souls on the planet. And one thing that temperance is also is temperance is a level of acceptance of everyone. And that collective spirit that Aquarians are so known for, and that group mentality and awareness is all within the flow. It's within the flow of the waters. I wish you well, Aquarians. March looks like an awesome month for you. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you next month. Until then, be well, be safe. Love you all. Bye for now.